Greetings, namaste, dear friends. Today we are meeting once again for our weekly Affirmations for Self-Healing webinar, which we do every Friday at the same time, 8 to 8:30. So the topic for today's affirmation is gratitude, and it's a strange coincidence that we are in the week of Thanksgiving, which is a celebration of expressing gratitude. So as usual, so before we start, I am Brahmachari Ramesh, and with us today is Brahmachari Premdas, and we will do the affirmation together and have a short discourse on the same. So let us begin with the reading, and after that we'll do the affirmation one time, and then Premdas will share something. Okay, so I will post the reading and the affirmation in the chat section so that you can also follow it. So, topic gratitude. Gratitude is a way of returning energy for energy received. Only a thief takes without paying for what he gets, and one who accepts a kindness without returning gratitude as though the kindness were his by right demeans both the giver and himself. He demeans the giver because by ingratitude he implies that the kindness was inspired by selfish motives, and he demeans himself because by giving nothing in return he breaks the cycle of creativity, without which prosperity's flow, both materially and spiritually, is blocked. Accept nothing inwardly for yourself, but offer everything to God. Don't let yourself be bought by others' kindnesses. Be grateful to them above all in your soul by blessing or praying for them. Give gratitude first of all to God, from whom alone all blessings truly come. Let us affirm together. So, first I will say, and you can repeat after me. First, let us do it out loud. I give thanks to the giver behind each gift, and to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence. Now, in the normal voice, I give thanks to the giver behind each gift, and to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence. Now, in a whisper, I give thanks to the giver behind each gift, and to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence. Now, mentally, bringing it into subconscious mind, I give thanks to the giver behind each gift, and to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence. Now, mentally, raising it to the superconscious mind, I give thanks to the giver behind each gift, and to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence. Let us pray mentally. I thank thee, Lord, for all thy blessings, but most of all, I thank thee for thy love. With that, I will pass it on to Brahmachari Premdas.
Thank you, Ramesh. Okay. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And I'm so glad to see all of you joining this session. So, few years before, I myself did not know what really Thanksgiving was, like why it was celebrated. And after coming to Ananda, it became more clear that the gratitude, the essence, the most important aspect. I was just reading Jyotishji's blog today about Jyotishji Deviji's blog series about the touch of light, touch of love, they write. And this week's topic was gratitude. And this time they cover about the Thanksgiving. And Jyotishji specifically mentions at the start of his blog that the many festivals we celebrate, it based on some person or some event. But this festival, the Thanksgiving, is very special, and he really also cherishes it because it's based on an attitude. Gratitude is an attitude in that way. And Brahmachari Ramesh today had called me earlier, a few hours earlier, and he called me to check on me how I'm preparing. And I said, "Oh God, oh, I'm yet to prepare." But he told me that there's a small quiz that he has for me, and he said, "What is gratitude?" And now I what is the meaning of gratitude? Now my logical mind started googling. Every time a question comes to our mind, we go to Google. So gratitude, it's a sense of appreciation. All these answers started popping out, and then Ramesh calmly said to me, think of gratitude. And he said gratitude is a feeling. Let's all, if you have some 2 seconds time, just close your eyes and let's try this activity. Let's think of one person or one thing, maybe one person, and think of 3 reasons why you have to be, why you're grateful for that person. Let's do this consciously, all of us. I hope you all thought of a person and you all were able to think of it. And what was it? There was that feeling of the gratitude. And more importantly, what I like most about gratitude is it opens our heart. You can also try this exercise whenever you get stuck in a low mood or something where your heart is not open. All you have to do is maybe take a 2-minute break, just walk in the garden and play this being glad game. I'll tell you how I came to know about it. So just be grateful for whatever you see around and whatever has happened, whatever God has given, and then you'll see automatically that your heart starts opening and you'll start getting back in tune with God and universe and with the positivity. So speaking about this being glad game, so few years back, I think it was in Pune when our monastery was there, that I got to read this book called Pollyanna. If you haven't read, I would recommend it. It's a fun read. And what happens is this girl comes to a new city or town. There, she by the end of the story, she almost changes everyone by just being glad for everything. She's glad for the sun. She's glad for the flowers that are blooming. She's glad for anything. Just that attitude can change the whole perspective. Like the consciousness, if we are in that consciousness, all our thoughts, we start tuning into that thoughts. Like thoughts are universal, like Master said, and all we have to do is, if we raise our consciousness, we'll be able to think the higher vibrations thoughts. So gratitude. So also in the same regard, I would like to now, I have just remembered how this attitude can help us during our day. I just read this on the internet. I was looking up some incidents or stories of Thanksgiving, and just how the sense of gratitude can really change lives and can change the whole perspective. So this might have happened in US. There was a blind man sitting on the pavement, and he had this blackboard in which a chalk had written, "I can't see, please help me," or something like, "Yeah, I can't see, please help me." And there were a few coins once every few hours that were dropping in his plate. He had a small plate out there. And then what happened? All of a sudden, a person walked there and he started hearing some noise. It felt like somebody had taken his chalk and they're starting to write something on his board. And then afterwards, he heard nothing of the person speaking to him. But again, the person went away, I think. And he had no clue about what happened. Then suddenly he started hearing the coins click, click, click on the plate. He was like curious, what happened? What did that person write on that the coin started coming in? Then the next day, he just by because the people, they say that sensitivity to ears are more stronger in the people who are blind. So he somehow listened to the footsteps approaching to him, and he was able to recognize that it was the same person who came yesterday and who did it. When that person came closer, he said, "Were you the same person who wrote, who changed on this thing?" And he said, "Yes." "So what did you change it to?" And the person who changed it to said, "I just changed it to, it's a beautiful day, and I'm glad that you all are able to enjoy it." And just those words, "It's a beautiful day, and I'm glad you're all able to enjoy it," coming from this blind man, just opened the hearts of all those people in the subway, and they started feeling for him, started trying to help him. So my example is not to is here the whole idea behind the story of me sharing it is for us to open our hearts and be grateful, not, and also maybe support, but not really in the, yeah, not really like handing out cash to people who can work also, but in this case it was different. So also I would like to give one more small example how just this change of attitude can help. I think Devashiji had shared with us some time back, where, for example, there was a meeting happening and a person walks late into the meeting. And instead of telling, there's one way to do it. You go in, and if I'm going in, I would say, "I'm sorry, I'm late for the meeting," and I just walk in. That's one way to look at it, one way to do it. And the other way is you go, you, instead of being like guilty sort of thing, you change the attitude and you say, "Thank," because all people are waiting for the meeting to start because of me. And then I go and I say, "Thank you all for waiting. This has been such a nice day, and I'm glad that I'm not too late." And yeah, just the word thank you instead of sorry also can make a big difference here. So the sense of gratitude can change the whole game. I think on spiritual path, it's very important to be grateful. And okay, I would like to end this now with a small incident. I think you all might have already heard this, but I would like to still repeat it. This is between Rajarshi Janakananda and Paramahansa Yogananda ji. Rajarshi Janakananda was one of the most highly advanced disciples of Yogananda ji. So once he was also a person who was a millionaire, and at the same time he had entered the Nirvikalpa state, Samadhi state. So once I think the conversation happens, and Master Paramsa Yogananda ji asked to Rajarshi, "Where does your power come from? Don't forget where your power comes from." And Rajarshi Janakananda, in a childlike sweet way, tells that, "No, Master, I I don't forget. I know it comes from you." Though I might not have been saying the right words, but the essence, the words that "I don't forget, Master, it's coming from you. I know my power comes from you," just opens up that heart in which the gratitude and the connection is so well expressed. Okay, by saying this, yeah, thank you for being there and supporting this affirmations webinar series. Now I would like to pass it to Brahmachari Ramesh.
Thank you, Premdas. That was wonderful. And yes, that was a very beautiful way Rajarshi ji expressed to Yogananda ji saying, "Yes, it comes from you, Master," in a very childlike way. And it was an example ideally for all of us because the saints don't need to speak to communicate with each other. And once again, this affirmation is very powerful and we can use it as a tool to grow. And we can be grateful to Swami Kriyananda ji for giving us this book, Affirmations for Self-Healing, and these beautiful teachings in a very clear and simple way. So, for gratitude, Premdas covered a lot of things, and yes, uh, my question to him about what is the meaning of gratitude was a trick question because it is defined as being thankful, appreciative, and so on. But what is thankful? What is appreciative? But it is more of a description of a feeling which we have when we receive something, some help from someone, and we are happy because of it, and we want to give something in return. We want to acknowledge that. So, and that is why gratitude. And I was seeing that the word is no longer used that much. The most commonly used word is thank you. And it is good, it is gracious to express these good qualities because as you grow spiritually, you will see that it is kind and considerate to express gratitude wherever it is due. And one another thing which it helps us to benefit from is when we express gratitude for any favor or any gift received or any help received, we put our energy outside of ourselves. We let go of being inside our small selves and we are outside of it, so it helps us to break the bondage of ego on us because we are expressing gratitude to someone else. And the way our world works is that when we help each other, things work a lot more smoother. But when we do not help each other, the things can take a lot more time and are more difficult. Hence, gratitude helps the cycle of energy moving. That if I'm expressing thanks to you, uh, I'm letting the energy received by me flow to a higher source, and the cycle goes on, and the energy flows. Swamiji says in the reading that if you are not grateful and you are being selfish, you can block the flow of creativity and prosperity. So, point to be noted. And how does that even happen? And why does that even happen? You might have seen, at least I have seen, that there's a correlation between people who express gratitude not only mechanically but feel it also inside, and their state of abundance and general state of well-being. That when you are grateful, when you see look at the things that you already have and are grateful, you tend to attract more of it, more of other things, and you are never in lack of anything. But when you see only at I don't have this, I don't have that, there's a negative approach to it. It becomes contractive and you end up not having the things you don't have and also losing the things which you already have. Now, that's not a good deal, is it? So, as Premda said, instead of saying sorry I'm late, you can say thank you for your patience. And so, a positive approach helps us to be more grateful. And who wouldn't want to be positive? Who likes negativity? I don't like it, and I hope you don't too. And another thing is, which I wanted to add was people when nowadays gratitude is very commonly taught everywhere, like little kids, we give them a chocolate, their parents will say, what do we say now? And they would say thank you. But it's not just a word, it's a feeling, it's a sincere feeling, and it has the greatest effect when we sincerely feel it in our heart and offer it. So well, if we can offer it outwardly to the person, or we can inwardly offer it to the throne of omnipresence presence, that it was said in the affirmation. With devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence, we offer our gratitude. Because in the reading, Swamiji said, which reflects the truth that all our blessings, though it comes through different mediums, the main source is God. And so when we are grateful, it is good to offer the feeling up to God. When Premdas suggested this beautiful exercise, which I was also going to suggest, but he beat me to it, and the way to do it, not the way to do it, what I did was I was going to suggest to list out some things which you are grateful for and do it as a practice daily and see how it feels inside, because the more you feel it, the more you will like it also. And I read it somewhere else. Swamiji wrote that when you the expression of gratitude, the quality of gratitude is more important for the person expressing gratitude than for the person receiving it. Because when we express gratitude, it helps us grow spiritually. And I hope all of us here want to grow spiritually, because that is why we are doing these affirmations, and also materially and spiritually both. But spiritually, it's much more long lasting. Now, another thing was we are supposed to be grateful, and it is easy to be grateful for all the good things. But are we supposed to be grateful for all the bad things also? Like there are all sorts of circumstances in life, the good, the bad. the good things, it is very easy to say thank you. I got this experience, I got this quality, I received this, I received that, and so on. And it's very easy to say I'm grateful for that and even feel that. But what about the tests, the trials, the challenges which push us, which make us uncomfortable, push us out of our comfort zone, make us suffer, and sometimes even give pain? What about those circumstances? Can we at that moment sincerely say thank you for that experience to come? I myself honestly had a very difficult time with that. I couldn't say thank you to the tough times, and I was like, why? Why would this happen? But if you have a sufficient number of these experiences, you will come to see that there is a subtle truth hidden behind how life flows through us for most of us. Paramahansa Yogananda ji said it in a simple sentence that a smooth life is not a victorious one. And let's ponder over that. Like, if our life is smooth, everything comes easily to us, it's not victorious. Why is it not victorious? Because when everything comes easily to us, there is no incentive, there is no desire to grow, to improve, to become a better version of ourselves. But if it is a life which has challenges, tests, trials, what do we do then? We have to face it at some point or the other. We face the challenges, and in facing our challenges, our trials, we put out more energy. When we put out more energy, it may be uncomfortable, it may be painful, or just I don't want to do it. That kind of feeling is there. But at the end of it, if we get through it by putting out the energy, we will have gained strength. We will have pushed ourselves to become better than we were originally when the challenge came. So that test, that challenge eventually helped us become stronger and improve our life. So for that reason, we can be grateful. Although it takes a lot of patience and even mindedness to be grateful in such situations. So start slow, and no one is asking to be grateful for everything right away without being sincere, but try to have an impartial outlook on things, because one of the important things is situations are in themselves neutral. It is how we react to them which make it positive or negative. So give some time to the negative things which are happening and see how it is helping you grow by having a positive attitude and trying to see what it is trying to help you learn, what it is trying to make you strong. Another example, a boxer become strong by sparring with a strong boxer, not a weak one. So trials, tests will come, and those who want to improve their lives and grow closer to God, closer to being a better version of themselves, God will give them more tests and challenges because God likes them, God loves them, and it is an expression of love to help you grow, even though it is a tough love, but it is a love nevertheless. And we should be grateful for that love because it is rare. Paramahansa Yogananda ji used to say to his closest disciples that he would give them his unconditional love. One should be eternally grateful for that, and we can't even contemplate that. But that's where, as the prayer said, above all for thy love, we can express gratitude. And with that, I would end with one line which Sister Gyanmata, Paramahansa Yogananda ji's most advanced woman disciple, said in one short line. I will just read it. This was regarding the context of facing challenges and great gratitude. Change no circumstance of my life, change me. With that, I will pass it over to Brahmachari Premdas for doing the affirmation along with the reading. This time he will do the affirmation in the longer way. We will post it in the chat again so that you can view it.
Thank you, Ramesh. Very well said. Yeah. So we all are really grateful for God and for the role of God and gurus in our life. Otherwise, we all would not have been here. So now I'm going to do the affirmation, and then this time we are going to repeat it many times so that we take the blessings deep inside us. So we are going to do it three times loudly, three times in a normal voice, three times in a whisper, three times taking it mentally, taking it deep into subconsciousness 3 times, offering it at the super consciousness again mentally. So I'm going to just do the reading first. Again, few lines of it. Gratitude is a way of returning energy for energy received. Give gratitude first of all to God, from whom alone all blessings truly come. Okay, let's do this affirmation first in a loud voice. I give thanks to the giver behind each gift, and to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence. I give thanks to the giver behind each gift, and to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence. Now, in a normal voice, I give thanks to the giver behind each gift, and to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence. I give thanks to the giver behind each gift, and to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence. I give thanks to the giver behind each gift, and to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence. Now let's do this in a whisper. I give thanks to the giver behind each gift, and to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence. I give thanks to the giver behind each gift, and to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence. Now let's do this mentally, taking it deep into subconsciousness. I give thanks to the giver behind each gift, and to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence. I give thanks to the giver behind each gift, and to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense incense to the throne of omnipresence. I give thanks to the giver behind each gift, and to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence. Now let's again do this mentally by taking it, offering it at the super consciousness, focusing at the spiritual life. I give thanks to the giver behind each gift, and to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence. I give thanks to the giver behind each gift, and to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence. I give thanks to the giver behind each gift, and to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence. Please repeat this prayer mentally along with me. I thank thee, Lord, for all thy blessings, but most of all, I thank thee for thy love. Om Shanti Shanti. Thank you, friends, for joining us this evening. We are glad and we are grateful for your presence in this webinar, and as Guru Bhais, we'll see you next week again with a new affirmation.